good people. How are you this evening? I am so excited about tonight. This is a topic that if you're an HR professional, I'm sure you will know that you have interacted either with a person with low self-esteem or very high esteem or just normal esteem. I have no idea. That's why we have Dr. Ruth here to demystify some of these things. Is there something like high esteem or low esteem or normal esteem, or and how does it come about? In fact, when I was reading about this topic, I discovered quite a lot that I didn't know. And I'm very, very excited that you're having that conversation tonight. And allow me to probably welcome all of you to Get It Right with Atara Solutions. This is, you are tuned in to Get It Right with Atara Solutions. This is a webinar series that seeks to demystify issues in employment and entrepreneurship. We do this every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to, let me not say 9 p.m. because that has been a lie in this season. We have never finished at 9 o'clock. So it is 8 p.m. until when we finish. I mean, last week, Yusuf and Ajal were on fire. We ended up having a 2-hour session. And which was very, very lit and really, really awesome. So Get It Right with Atara Solutions is a webinar series that seeks to demystify issues in employment and entrepreneurship. And we started this in 2020 during COVID. We are on season 4. We are the people who have a season running for a whole year. In journalism, that would be a crime. In journalism, a season is about 12 weeks to 14 weeks. But here we are. I mean, who comes up with the rules anyway? And we are doing ourselves, and we have been discussing quite a lot. So May has been dedicated to mental health discussions. We have done so, and we will do so until next week, because last week we had to break the cycle and discuss HR based on the International Human Resource Day. But nonetheless, we are going to end this season with postpartum depression, which is what we're going to discuss next week. But tonight, we are just going to understand, I mean, as I was figuring out self-esteem, I realized that it's also not mental health, but it could also be mental health. I mean, it is, yeah, we are there mashed up and just figuring things out. And that is why we have experts in the room. Allow us to also give a shout out to the people who have supported us and making sure that we are here. I noticed today, because of the dollar, Zoom has gone pretty. I mean, the cost of Zoom right now, oh my God, it's ridiculous, to say the least. But we are still here. We are still strong. We have decided that we have to do this, and therefore we wish to continue to make a difference. I mean, we believe that this is our calling. So, oh God. Okay, and then stop share. And we go back and share the right screen. Yeah, today my computer is just misbehaving. It does not know I'm on the clock here. Okay, so here we go. All right, so we do this in partnership with Stallion Construction Company Limited. Stallion Construction are people involved in construction. If you're looking to subdivide your office, if you're moving to a new place and you wish for somebody to come and renovate it for you, if you're looking for a house to renovate or to build afresh, then Stallion Construction Company are your people. We are Pathway Solution Services. Pathway Solutions are HR consulting and training firm. They have been offering our people trainings free on their LMS. LMS is a learning management system. So Pathway Solution Services, we appreciate your partnership. And we also have an offer for you guys tonight. Last week, about 10 of you got a chance to be trained for free on the LMS. LMS is learning management system. They link you up. It is self-taught. You are given a timeline to finish, and you also get a certificate at the end of it all. So Pathway Solution Services, we appreciate your partnership. We have HRMPEB. HRMPEB is the Human Resource Management Professional Examination Board. I would like to make this announcement here. They are doing public participation next week on Tuesday. And I will share the link to joining that on the link. On Tuesday next week, They will be doing public participation on self-paced learning, where you do not need to attend class. You just book for your exams and you go ahead and take your exams, just the way CASNEP does. So they are opening up for public participation next week. And they are hoping that after public participation, they will be able to clean up and then be able to offer the same at the November exams. So be on the lookout. I'll share the details to join the session on which will be virtual on Tuesday next week. Tuesday is the 6th. So if you're here and wondering how to do your CHRP, you're in Kampala, Tanzania, wherever it is you are, then you can be able to do that yourself. You learn by yourself, and then you just book an exam and sit for the exams, just the way like it has been done by accountants for over the years. So that is what HRMPEB is currently doing, and we're going to share their video shortly. And then we have Panessa Training Institute. Panessa Training Institute, is a carpentry or woodworking school. If you wish to learn how to work with wood, or just have interest in understanding woodworking, or you have a relative or brother or sister who wishes to take this course, please send them to us. We have WeClean. WeClean is a carpet cleaning and also home cleaning company. They do carpets, they do sofas, they do curtains, everything. You don't have to sit in a dirty sofa or a dirty carpet and wondering it is cold in Nairobi and what are you going to do? So WeClean, they offer free pickup and delivery and 24 hours delivery. So if they pick up your carpet today, they are able to drop it off tomorrow. Please don't stay with a dirty carpet in the house because you're not too sure when it's going to dry, or you don't even have a car to take it to wherever it is they clean. They will come and pick it up from your house. They lift your sofas, they pick the carpet, and then when they come, they will lay it for you as well. We have Suluhu Mediation Center. I am a certified mediation professional mediator, and I did my certification with Suluhu Mediation. That was one of my favorite classes, actually. And I am still trying to get the hang of things because we have to do practice. It comes with time. It's a skill that you build. Mediation skills are actually built over time. So you can do the certification and then continue learning. So if you wish to become a professional mediator, please join Suluhu Mediation Center. We have Profiles International. Profiles International, I normally refer to them as the people. They have a psychometric assessment. They offer Geno certified emotional intelligence coach. So if you wish to become an emotional intelligence coach, you can do yours through Profiles International. They offer the Geno's certification. And then if you wish to engage someone on psychometrics or wish to be trained on psychometrics analysis, then Profiles are your people. And then we have Kapula Mintito sell coastal goods. If you are craving your mabuyu or you wish to have some cashew nuts, Richard, I know you love them nuts, then Kapula Mintito should be your best bet. We have El Samea. El Samea is a hotel located in Naivasha. That place is so beautiful. I cannot wait to go back there. And if you wish to take a vacation, solocation, workation, whatever cation you wish to go, or you're just around Naivasha and you're wondering what to do with the time that you have before your next meeting, you can just drive into El Samea. They have a museum. They take you through the history of Elsa. Elsa is a lion that was adopted. And they'll show you the movie. It is such a beautiful, beautiful place, and the views are to die for. Then we have Papas. Papas are into ERP. They're a technology company. If you're looking for an ERP or a HR system, then Papas will be able to help you in that. And then we have Steadfast Quality Solutions Limited. Steadfast Quality Solutions Limited are located in Uganda, Kampala. They offer consultancy in public relations and human resource management. They are, of course, headed by my good friend Herbert Zake. Thank you very much, Herbert Zake, for always sharing our flyers in Kampala. And of course, for linking me up with Dr. Ruth, who is our guest today. So thank you very much, Herbert Zake, for we really, really appreciate your input at Get It Right with the Tara Solutions. And of course, we have Profiles International. They have an offer for us. If you wish to know who you are, your personality type, you can take their DISC assessment. And then DISC assessment is one of the best assessments that you can take that could help you know yourself, understand how you manage people, understand how you interact with others, understand how you show up, and also understand the other people who work around you. Please don't be shy. Make sure you register for this. It is at 6,500 only, and it is one of the tools that you will always use. You can always refer. After this assessment, they will sit with you. They go over it. They make sure that you understand in the best way possible. So make sure that you're not lost on who you are. And I'm sure that is part of what we're learning tonight. And then my favorite part of the day, we are going to Norcross Riverine in Sagana. We have Get It Right with the Tara Solutions, a road trip edition. I am so excited. I was in Norcross, Sagana on Sunday. Oh my God, that place is beautiful. The views are to die for. Oh my God. And the food is amazing. We were just making plans. We went to the river. They have a river. They have awesome rooms, and they also have a good ambience. They have, I don't know, 2 private pools and 1 that anyone can go to. So make sure you carry your swimming pool, especially for those who are spending the night. Now, due to public demand, we are going to organize transport. So be on the lookout for our next flyer. We have transport coming from Nairobi to Sagana and back on the same day, and that is going, so event plus transport. If you're going to and coming back, you will pay 5,000 bob. If you're going to and come and spending the night to come back the next day, with the same transport, we'll charge 5,500. That is for transport only if you're not spending the night at Norcross. If you're spending the night at Norcross, of course, single bed and breakfast is 4,500. Double bed and breakfast is 7,500. So make sure you book your seat. Our theme, I was supposed to I'll show the flyer with the theme. Our theme is collaboration, the accelerator for business and your career. So we have two keynote addresses, and then we have a panel discussion. And then this is going to be a night of learning, a night of networking, a night of having fun, a night of eating, and you can be sure it's going to be worth your while. So make sure you join us for this trip. And of course, this Friday, we will be at Kempinski in Nairobi. We have the Converge event that is bringing together CEOs, state leaders, and HR professionals in one room. We have to have this discussion. We have been saying that HR has to be on the table, but for you to get on the table, you have to understand what does the other side see in you, and what are the expectations, and for yourself, you have to understand what are they looking for, and for them, they need to communicate what is it that they want from you, and of course, while you get to that table, what next? You know, because we have, for the last, I don't know how many years, been saying HR has to be on the table. HR has to be on the table. It is on the table. So what? Are you going to be serving tea or just saying sina maoni? Join us on Friday at Kempinski. That is where we're going to be having this conversation, the Converge round table. And it's the theme is on culture and talent optimization for organization of competitiveness and national economic development. So we are not only going to solve our problems in our small organizations, we're also going to the bigger picture. So join us on Friday. And I'm sure Damaris or Madangani is on the call. Please share details, and see you on Friday. And of course, allow us to go to the business of the day. Right. So tonight we are looking at self-esteem, you know, and how do you build self-esteem? I mean, we have seen, or being around people, or even ourselves, have suffered from lowest self-esteem, low self-confidence, judging ourselves too much. And we are wondering, is it low self-esteem? What is this self-esteem that you're talking about? And how do we build it up? And so with us tonight is none other than Dr. Ruth Senyonyi. I hope I pronounced that name correctly.
Yes.
I'm still Ajal is still trying. Ajal, how do you say good evening in Luganda? Yeah, I know.
A long one.
Anyway, yeah. But I am getting there. Right. So Dr. Ruth is a clinical psychologist. She runs an organization in Kampala. Allow me to leave you to introduce yourself in the interest of time, because I have to read your profile. But I am so glad to have you here tonight, and I look forward. On this call, I should introduce you to, and yeah, you can take it away, Ruth.
Okay, you want me to go now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Let me share my slides. Yeah. Okay, I think, good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Grace. for reaching out to me. I'm glad to be able to talk about mental health, building your self-esteem. As you've heard, my name is Dr. Ruth Senyonyi. I am a counseling psychologist. I am a director of a counseling center that I own. It's called Bethel Counseling and Consultancy Center. I am a teacher by profession. I teach, right now I teach master's students of counseling, but I've been working with Bank of Uganda for several years. So I was in HR for a very long time, still doing counseling, but under the Human Resource Department. So I am excited that I can share what I know and what I've talked about and what I do with people. In my counseling, I meet lots of people, and one of the biggest problems is self-esteem, low self-esteem, where people do not know what to do with themselves. So that's what we are going to talk about. I'm married to a Reverend Canon Dr. John Senyonyi. He's also a mathematician by profession. That's where his doctorate comes from. But he's also a reverend in the Church of Uganda, and he's now retired. So both of us are actually retired and spend a bit of time doing the counseling that I'm talking about. We have 4 grown children, 3 of them are married. We have 6 grandchildren, a 7th coming, and one of our sons who lives in Germany is not yet married, but we know that he's coming up soon. So that's me. I hope that helps.
I'm single.
Okay. All right. So as you can see on the screen, mental health, and because we are celebrating or we are doing the mental health month this month, so a lot of what we have been talking about is around mental health. And so building your self-esteem. I'll first begin with a definition. Self-esteem is how we perceive who we are, or the mental picture, that thing in your head that gives you a picture of yourself. If you are to look in the mirror and say, who am I? What do I look like? And also the value you place on yourself. Sometimes I say, if you were to be sold in the market like they used to sell slaves, how much would they buy you? How much would it cost to get you? That's the value that you place on yourself. What is your personal worth? What about the self-respect for yourself? Do you actually respect you? That kind of gives you an image of what kind of self-esteem you have for you. What confidence do you have in you? If you told yourself to do something, would you have confidence that you would do it perfectly well? That gives you a sense of your self-esteem. This self-esteem has an influence on well-being. And that's why we are talking about mental health, because it has a big effect on mental health. There are many, many words that are used for self-esteem. Sometimes they use self-image, the image you have of yourself. Sometimes they say self-value. I've already explained that one. Then self-acceptance. How well do you accept you? Then compassion. How much compassion do you have for yourself? Are you kind to yourself? Are you good to yourself? Do you like who you see? What about the respect? I've already mentioned that. How much confidence do you have? And what is the perception of you? What concept do you have of yourself? So they use all that: self-image, self-value, self-acceptance, self-respect, self-concept. All those can be used in view of self-esteem. In view of mental health, it's important to know what then is mental health. Sometimes I want to call mental health wellness or well-being, or not me, but the world calls it wellness or well-being. And most human resource people, most places of work they want their people to be well. They want their employees to be well so that they can be complete, so that they can flourish, so that they can be positive. So mental health or wellness or well-being is when you are functioning well emotionally, socially, psychologically, and spiritually, meaning the total you, how you are performing, how you are functioning. This is where we pull out your potential and you utilize it all. Nothing is left underneath. You know, if you have the picture of the iceberg, sometimes we only see the top and we don't know what is underneath. But when you have discovered that you can actually, there's so much potential down there that you can pull up, that is good mental health. Wellness is when the feeling, I'm feeling and I'm thinking, sometimes we call them emotions or the cognitive, and also the behavioral. All these components are well. How you are behaving, how you are thinking, how you are feeling, they should all be well. That is mental health. And then another way they think about this is when you realize your own abilities. That is the ability to cope. Maybe there are many stresses in your life. There are always stresses. You get a child, you get job, they're always there. But can you cope? My ability, can I do this? My ability to be productive and to be able to contribute to community. So when we add my self-perception and mental health, these two have to join and be together for me to be able to be well. So our well-being depends a lot on how we perceive ourselves. The other part of wellness or mental health or self-esteem is to do with reputation and identity. How does the public view you? I mean, you may see yourself as a very wonderful person, but what does the public see? What is it that identifies you? What is it that makes you a unique person from everybody else? What is the character that you have built over time? And what is, sometimes it's called your good name. If they say Ruth Senyonyi, what does it imply? What comes to the mind of the people listening out there? Maybe they've heard you speak, maybe they know your marriage, maybe they know your children, something that is your good name. And it has a lot to do with integrity, how you are doing the right or the wrong, according to society or according to your religion, right? So when we look at all that, then we ask ourselves, are you, in what category do we place you? Because some people do not like themselves at all. They look at themselves as disposables. I am just a cup. I am going to be thrown into the rubbish or the trash can any minute now. So I'm not doing anything about me. That is a sad story, that you look at yourself as something that is not worth anything. Therefore, you are used and thrown away. Some people are like that. There's an illustration that I used one time and told a young lady who was, putting her body out for sale. And I said, you are like a latrine. I don't know if you know in Kenya whether you use the same word, latrine, or a pit latrine, or, where somebody comes, deposits something in there and goes away, deposits something, they never stay. So some people's lives are like that. They are trash, and that's not what we want. The other thing that helps us to look at self-esteem or the total of your life is how can you summarize your life? If you died, God forbid, if you died, what would they say about you? How would you want others to remember you on that day? What words will be written on your tombstone? or she was a nice lady, or she was a horrible woman, or she, all those things make you who you are. What legacy will you leave? What is your sense of worth at the end of the day? So as Grace said, there are 3 types of self-esteem, and I would like to go through them. The very first one is overly high self-esteem, and they go in that order. I mean, not in that order, but it's like, if it's overly high, it's up there. That's why I put it up there. And down here, we have the low self-esteem. Those 2 are not good to be. We want the healthy self-esteem. So we'll go through them and you'll see what I'm trying to say. The low self-esteem, when we explain it, is when you are feeling inferior to others. Sometimes it is called the inferiority complex. So it's like you are down here and looking up at all others. Those guys are so much better than me. You feel inadequate, you feel worthless, you feel unworthy. You are so critical of yourself. I am so horrible, like that disposable cup. I am just here for a season. I am not contributing to anything. Many of the people who have low self-esteem have no motivation. So they don't want to try anything new. They avoid tasks because they feel that they are going to fail and they are going to make mistakes, or they are going to be embarrassed. When you have low self-esteem, you are less sure of what you can do. You have doubts in making decisions. So you are slow in making decisions. Sometimes it's like they're asking you to do something and you're like, I don't want to do it because I don't want to fail. Then you are also slow in expressing your need. There are so many times we want to express, I need this, even in our marital relationships. We need intimacy. We need to be close to people. Even in our HR jobs, we need a promotion. We need more money. We need, negotiations of that nature. Sometimes people find it very difficult to express what they need. And then there are also struggles in relationships because you don't feel worthy enough to be loved. So every time you are suspicious, maybe they don't love me enough because I'm not good enough. So this is a little chart showing what it is like to have low self-esteem. If you look at the top, it says, I'm not thinking much about myself. I'm criticizing myself. I'm blaming myself. I'm focusing on my weaknesses. I'm feeling unable to assert myself. I apologize a lot. I'm sorry. I avoid challenges of trying to be perfect. I can't be perfect, so I avoid challenges. I'm very self-conscious. Everything I do, it is like, oh, maybe they are watching me. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I am also very eager to please. So every time, let's say I finish speaking now, I'm calling everybody. How was it? Was it good? Was it okay? Didn't I make a mistake? That kind of thing. Feeling that you don't deserve treats. So somebody comes and says, look, I want to take you out. I want to just say, thank you for what you have done. I want to give you a treat. I want to give you a gift. And they say, no, I don't deserve that gift at all. Contributors to low self-worth or low self-esteem. I said I will use different words: self-worth, self-concept, self-esteem. Genetics, coming from your parents, grandparents, 6 people, they can contribute to that. Age, as you grow older, sometimes you lose your self-worth. Sometimes personality traits, a lot of family dynamics. There are very many families that are dysfunctional. So there is neglect when you are growing up. There is abusive situations. Sometimes some families don't have structure. So children grow up and they don't know when to wake up. They don't know when they'll go to school. They don't know when they'll eat. That kind of thing It's like you are not sure what's going to happen. So you lose that structure. Sometimes it is early childhood experiences. Maybe they've been telling you how terrible you are, how you look like your father, who was a no good person. So all those things, those family dynamics are contributors to low self-worth. Then the thought patterns, whatever is going in your head, thinking, sometimes we call it self-defeating thought patterns, or how your cognitions are working. You might tell yourself, I am very ugly. That is self-defeating. So you believe that you're ugly. You treat yourself as an ugly person. Even if they were to say, come for a beauty contest, you would not even put your name there because of those thought patterns. But also we have faulty theological beliefs. There are people who have been in church or in their religions where they have been taught wrong things and they believe them about themselves. A lot of, sacrifice yourself, throw yourself in, on the cross like Jesus did. So they say many things that you are not supposed to be. And then expectations, unrealistic, I'm supposed to be like this. And really it is a very high expectation and you never get there. So you get disappointed. More contributors, mental illness, if you are mentally ill, exposure to discrimination, for example, racism, tribalism, or classism, the isms. Yeah. So race, sometimes if you've been in a place where you are the only Black person and everybody else is white, you feel like there's something wrong with me. And sometimes if they add words to that and say a lot of things to you that are not good, there is a problem. I remember going to the US when I was doing my master's, and I was the only Black person in the class. I had never gone through anything like that. And I was like, whoa, what does somebody do here? I'm glad I was an adult. I was able to handle it. But imagine when you're a teenager and maybe you are the only white person or you're only Black person. Even tribalism, there are some tribes that are looked down upon, the minority tribes. And so you come up with that tribe and they're like, where are you coming from? Bambi, look at her, she's coming from this tribe, horrible tribe, Immediately you lose the esteem, because every time you say your name, they think you are from that tribe. And then classism, you go into a place where, people are so classy and you feel like you are not part of that class. Maybe you grew up in poverty, you've never had so much money, and so that works on you. Stress of work, life, of relationships, marriage, boyfriend, girlfriend relationships. And then when you compare yourself with the world, with your peers and what they are going through, sometimes you feel you cannot fit there. Then trauma, sometimes if you've had an accident or you've had abuse, it leaves a mark that you will never forget. I used to talk so much about trauma. I didn't know that it's a very big problem until I got an accident about 2 years ago. The car I was in overturned. And that mark has never left me. Every time a car is going backwards, my memory comes back and I'm like, we are going to have another accident. So this is the same thing that happens to people when they've gone through traumatic events. Chronic illnesses or sin. Sometimes in our churches, we talk about sin and wrongdoing. All those things can contribute to your low self-esteem. The effects of low. So nobody should be in this level of low self-worth. You should never think that you are so low, but because it causes so much trouble in mental health. Anxiety, you can even get panic, anxiety attacks. Depression, sorry about the spelling there. Helplessness and feelings of failure and defeat. You can even get to a point of self-harm. There are people who cut themselves, they get a knife and cut themselves. Others want to kill themselves. Others have no boundaries. in their relationship. So they are having an affair with everybody that they can reach out to because of that lack of boundaries. Then sometimes it leads to mental disorders. Sometimes people fail to express their needs. I don't know how to ask for things because of that low self-worth. Poor body image. Some people look at themselves, they don't like their breasts, they don't like their back, they don't like how they look, they don't like their teeth, they don't like anything. So sometimes people go into altering themselves, you know. Sometimes it's the color they don't like, so they change color and become browner because they seem to see that browner people or whiter people seem to get all the attention. So they put stuff on their faces so that they can bleach themselves. Some go into alcohol and drug abuse. Some isolate themselves. I am doing another presentation on loneliness and isolation, social isolation. So that happens when you have low self-esteem. You don't want to go out to people. You don't want to go to events. You don't want to go to any social gathering because of what you think about yourself and what people will say about you. You have a negative outlook to life. Sometimes it leads to anger, jealousy. You don't even are not curious about other people. You don't ask questions about other people. You know how you meet in a social group and say, how are you? Where do you go to school? How what work do you do? You don't want to know. Why? Because they are always better than you. And you don't want to find out. So you don't even have healthy relationships. So nobody should be in that stage. Then we get to the other one, the top one. Some people think that when they are up there, they are looking down at everybody. I am better than everybody else. So that feeling of superiority complex. I am so good. I don't have anything wrong with me. So there's that kind of arrogance that comes in. So you start looking at yourself as the best that there is. Nobody's better than you. So there's an overestimation of skills, of abilities, of importance. Sometimes you have this impulsive and attention-seeking behavior. Look at me, guys. Look at me. I'm better. I'm good. I'm so good. Have a good car. So there's that feeling of entitlement. Sometimes this feeling of entitlement is so much in our children. You give them everything they need. They have money, they have cars, they have everything. So they go to a school and they feel entitled. They are going to succeed no matter what. That's not good either. Being up there is not the best thing because you overestimate who you are. You can't get criticized. You can't get that sense of failure. You can't accept feedback, and therefore you end up manipulating people. So that it's that inflated sense of self-esteem sometimes leads to narcissistic tendencies where you are selfish, egotistic, and just absorbed in yourself. And therefore you become manipulative and impulsive, and you struggle with relationships. Sometimes you see yourself as so perfect and everybody else is imperfect. Okay. So it's not a good thing. I didn't put out the effect. I thought I had effects of that, but it leads to a lot of narcissistic behavior and overestimated view of who you are. So therefore you become arrogant and you can't deal with people very well. When we get to healthy self-worth or healthy self-esteem, this is where you have a balanced view of yourself, accurate and balanced. I know who I am. I am celebrating my identity. I can see this side and this side, the good and the bad. You see, my strengths are these, my weaknesses are these, and I am accepting them. I don't think I'm only strong, or I don't think I'm only weak, but I have a balance of both. That gives you a confidence. So if I'm told, Ruth, come and speak about self-esteem, I will come because I know my strengths. I remember one time they asked me to speak about, I can't remember what it was. And I told them, that is nothing to do with me, and I'm not even venturing there. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it because I know what I can give and what I cannot do. So you go in with confidence because you know your strength, and you go in knowing that that one I will not be able to do because I am not able to. Therefore, you are able to set boundaries, let's say in relationship, and say, I'm not going there. Let's say they take you to a bar and you know that you drink a lot. You say, you know, I will not go there because I know my boundaries. Therefore, you are able to maintain healthy relationships. You are not pushed by peers to do what what they want you to do. You are confident and you are able to do it. Accepting failure, accepting that once in a while, yes, things will not go my way. And that's okay. That sense of entitlement now is not there anymore. And you can then communicate, you know, these are my needs. This is what I want. You know, a healthy self-esteem, I can go to my boss, topmost, you know, in Bank of Uganda, we used to have the governor. That's the topmost guy. And most people would fear him. They say, I cannot speak to the governor. Why not? You can communicate effectively and confidently with him and say, guess what, governor, this is what we want. So this is what I used to do for the staff because I was in charge of staff welfare. So I would knock on the governor's door and say, the staff feel they want this. And I could do it with a lot of confidence. Yeah. Whether he's big or small, I can talk to anybody up there, down here, up, you know, because you have that healthy self-esteem. You are not afraid to ask for help because I know my weaknesses and I'm like, I can't do that. Can you please help me? And you can express that need. A healthy self-esteem is portrayed because you are competent, but also you have a sense of belonging. You know, I know who I am and I have a sense of belonging. I am married to John and he loves me. I have that sense of belonging. My children are here. You know, this is where I belong. My tribe, I'll talk about that a little later. You know, I have a sense of security. I am secure. And therefore, I can reach my goal. I'm purposeful. If I say I'm going to do this, I reach out and do it. I know my strength. I know my weaknesses. I can ask for help. So then inside me, healthy self-esteem says, appreciate you. What do you have? What can you appreciate about you? Respect yourself. And therefore, you will not do things where you lose your self-respect. So the topic was building your self-esteem. So you can build, some of you have already built, some of you have already got it, but some of you need to boost it. Some of you need to improve it. So we are going to see what are some of the things that we need. We'll begin with building. It's important when you are building your self-esteem to know who you are. So the first question is, who am I? That is the realistic view of yourself. Maybe you go to people, maybe your family or your friends, your human resource friends, the people you work with in your office, and say, please tell me my strengths. Write them down, whether you believe them or not, and study them. Say, wow, I'm organized. You know, my daughter, my firstborn, is been married for 13 years. She has 4 children. So yesterday she was telling me that I was telling people that I want to be like my mom. You tell her something and she's so calm. She doesn't bust out and she doesn't say, what? So I was like, wow, that's a nice one. I want to be that. Yes. You know? Are you calm? Are you organized? Find those strengths, but also find your weaknesses. Ask your mom, ask your dad, ask your children, what are some of the weaknesses? Some of you have very bad tempers. Some of you are lazy. I remember a gentleman that came to me, called me actually. I had never met him, but he keeps calling me and asking me all these little questions. And he told me that my wife, refuses to wake up in the morning. So he's in the kitchen making porridge for the children. They have 3 children, making porridge, trying to help them to get their homework in their bag. And this wife is asleep. I really pitied him. So I told him, you know what? That is probably her weakness. But what you can do is now, don't make the porridge in the morning. Make the porridge at night and put it in a flask and lay out all these clothes so that tomorrow in the morning, you don't have to struggle with all those things. And he was very thankful about that. So some of you are too emotional. They tell you something small and you cry. Some of you are full of self-pity. Some of you lose interest quickly. So there are so many things. List them. Get that realistic view so that when the weakness comes up, you say, okay, let me circle this one. Bad temper. What do I do with a bad temper to move it to strength? Bad temper. Just take a walk. So at least when you know the weakness, you can handle, you can deal with it. Okay? If you are short, there's nothing you can do about that. You see, there are things you put a little cross and say, that one, there's nothing I can, maybe I can wear high heels. they may put me a little higher, but really that one, skin complexion, those things you can't change. There's things you can't change. So you put a stand, say, Papa, that one I can't change. This one I have to work hard and do something about it. Realistic view of yourself. That's where we begin to build our self-esteem. Very, very important. And then you find yourself. What is your vision? Do you have a sense of life? Sorry, a purpose in life? Where are you headed? What do you see 10 years down the road? I want to be this one. I want to be that. I want to do that. I keep telling people, I wanted to be a teacher and I wanted to be a really good one. So when I finished my senior 6, I went into training for becoming a teacher. My degree was in education. Everybody was like, how, Ruth, you should do law. I said, I don't want to do law. You know, I was very, very intelligent. I think I still am, you know, that's nice. Grace is laughing. Yes, I still am. And, you know, they told me, no, you should do law. You should do. I said, no, this is what I want. Very visionary. I want to teach. And, you know, I've been told that I'm a very, very good teacher and people like my teaching. So, purpose, you know. So I went higher, I did a master's, I went higher, I did a PhD. And, you know, what is your dream? What is your direction? What do you want to pursue in life? Purpose it and do it. Because if you don't put it up there, it will never be done. And I remember one workshop, they told us, okay, you know how they draw little things that you're dreaming about, that little thing that comes to your head and it's like, what is your dream? And for me, I put in PhD. And I said, I am going to do that PhD. Purpose. Then you look at your talents, your gifts, your abilities. What do you have? You need to know them, because if you don't know them, then you can't find yourself. You can't do them. You know, if you're a good teacher, if you have gifts of speaking, you know, presentation, maybe it is decoration, find them and utilize them properly. Then what are your values? What do you believe in? What are your values and beliefs? People, you need to have values. If you don't have values, then you can never do anything. Maybe it is in God. You know, I trust in God. I love God. Then follow those values and put them into practice so that everywhere you go, whether you are in America, in Japan, in China, in Kenya, in Uganda, those values are the same. If you don't drink alcohol, then don't drink alcohol. Whether you are in a bar, don't. Okay? That's what you believe in, and that's what is your value. You put it into practice. Then you look at your appearance. Remember, we are building self-esteem. How do you look? How do people see you? Some of you don't take care of yourself at all. You look like prostitutes. You look like you are unkempt. The hair, the beard is looking horrible. Take care of you. Put healthy boundaries between you and your workmates, between you and people that are close to you. You know, we work with people to like 12 hours a day. And sometimes you are very close, you are doing a project, you are on your computer, and eventually you find yourself kissing. When you have a husband at home, when you have a wife at home, what are you doing kissing? What are you doing holding hands? Holding hands, how healthy, healthy boundaries. So look good, not to pull people towards you, but to have that healthy appearance. So the mental, the emotional, the spiritual health. I talked about that in mental health. Mentally, how are you? Emotionally, how are you dealing with that? Spiritually, are you going to church? Are you fine with God? Dress code, are you modest? Okay. Speech, what are the words that come out of your mouth? There are people who have bad words. You don't want to be near them. So that gives you a picture of who you are. Also, emotional intelligence, that's managing your emotions. If I'm sad, I don't have to show the whole world everywhere, every day that I'm sad. If I'm sad, like in my counseling, I don't go around telling them all the stories that have happened to me. They're the ones who I'm dealing with. And so they don't need to know my my emotional state. So learn where you are going to throw your emotions and where you are going to hold them in. At the workplace, it's not a place to blow up and lose your temper and not talk to everybody. Hey, that is emotional intelligence, knowing where to throw your emotions. Then a sense of belonging. Do you have an identity culturally? I am a Muganda. In Uganda, we have like 32 tribes. I am a Muganda, and I'm very, very proud of it. I am not ashamed to say who I am. My ancestry, where I come from, my grandfather, my grandmother, they gave me names and I have them. That gives me my identity, my heritage. You see, I've shown you that's how the Baganda dance. That's the Buganda dance. My history, do I know it? And pass it on to your children. They should know the language. They should know how to greet. They should know what we do. We are losing it. We are losing it to the Western world. Everybody says, hi, hi, hi. Do you say hi in your ancestry, in your culture, in your identity? No, your language is important. Your tradition is important. So that sense of belonging gives you a healthy self-esteem. Then boost your intelligence. What is your mental capacity like? Is it at 0% or 100%? Develop your brain. Now I have this picture. We have the upstairs and the downstairs brain. Use your upstairs brain, the thinking, the reasoning, the problem solving, the planning. Use it a lot. And the downstairs brain is the reactive, the emotional one. Use it less. When you are under 20, you use the downstairs brain much more than the upstairs brain. So as you grow older, please try to use the upstairs brain a lot more than the lowest brain. Okay. Then you have to look at your career development. What do I want? I'm now 62 years old. I have retired from Bank of Uganda. I'm getting my pension every month. And, I think with work, I've done well, but I'm not yet done. I'm still, I'm still doing counseling, and there's a lot to do. Reading ability. How often do you read? Do you read a book? Do you have a book you're reading now? Be informed. Do you read the newspaper? Do you watch the news? All that helps you to have that healthy self-esteem. Okay. Then improving your self-esteem, because that one was building. So we start there, knowing yourself. Now we are improving and boosting. Avoid comparing yourself. Be confident of who you are. When you are dressed, walk out and you look good. You don't have to ask anybody whether you look good. You don't have to go to the office and say, now see, that one is better dressed than me. This is a woman problem. Women, they spend so much time, oh, she's wearing my dress. Or you see someone wearing a dress and say, I have that dress at home. For God's sake, why are you saying that? Of what help will that do to you? Be positive, affirm yourself, say, wow, Ruth, look at you. You're looking good. Then have support systems, your family, your work. Don't throw them away. Don't throw away a husband. Last Sunday, I was talking to a group of women and I told them, some of you are so quick at giving your husbands away. Look, I've been with this guy for 38 years. How can I get him and give him to someone else? No, you will not get my husband. I will fight tooth and nail to make sure that I retain him, because look, we've kept each other for. But some of you, when they say, oh, he's cheated, and then you say, okay, mister, go with that one. He's seen that one for 2 hours and you are giving him away. Yeah. No, that guy is your support. Your support. Don't give him away. At work, what support systems do you have? At church, what support system? In the community where you live, do people know you? Do you go out and see your neighbor? At Easter, do you hand out some meat packages? We call them border guys, these guys who ride motorcycles. They are always somewhere. Greet them, because you will need them at some point. Then challenge your negative thinking patterns. Some of you are negative in everything. Everything is wrong, from the government to the community to the family to the children. Everything is wrong. But challenge those thinking patterns and give yourself a positive self-talk. Tell yourself, Ruth, you are so beautiful. Ruth, you have done this so well. Pat yourself on the back and say, wow, give yourself a treat. Go and have a soda. Go and have some tea. I'm not going to say go and have a beer because I don't drink beer, but go and give yourself a treat because you have done well. Diffuse those negative things that come from people. When somebody tells you something negative, throw it back at them and say, that is not mine. Mine, I can affirm myself. I know what I want. Then deal with negative traits, negative character, negative behavior. Deal with them, negative cognitions. Okay, trust yourself. Be able to say, Ruth, I'm going out and I'm trusting that I am going to do well. And you do well, whether you are presenting, whether you are working, whether it is with your family, you are going to trust yourself. Then pamper yourself. Give yourself treats. Be your own best friend. My best friend right now is my husband. But before I married him, I had best friends. We had very many friends. And one of them was called Vida. She was my very good friend. She would come to me and would know that there's something wrong with me. So that's how I want you to treat yourself. Look at yourself and you're like, Ruth, what's wrong with you? What's happening? You are not happy? Your heart is beating so hard? You are angry? What should we do for you? Do you want a soda? Do you want a dress? Do you want to buy new shoes? Treat yourself well and forgive yourself daily. Laugh at your own silly mistakes. Oh, Ruth, you said that, you actually did that. Wow, you girl, talk to yourself. Now, this is about forgiveness. Some of you are carrying burdens as heavy as that. And you see, when you are carrying something like that, you cannot go up. You cannot improve. You cannot be healthy. Your mental health goes down the rocks because you are carrying a big rock. And why? Because of the many things that have happened to you over time. Remember what I told you? Some of the things that bring low self-esteem. The contributors of low self-esteem. I said some of it is to do with family dynamics. So sometimes you're abused as a child. Sometimes your husband has not been treating you very well. Sometimes you've been abused here and there. And so you carry the load. It is on your back. And guess what? The people who did these things to you are not carrying that load. The person who abused you when you were 5 years old doesn't even remember. And yet you are carrying this thing on your head, on your back. You are so tired. You are so tired. And you can't do anything. So every time you try to go up, maybe promotion, maybe do the purpose that you are thinking about, you're like, oh, my mother. Oh, my boyfriend that left me. Now I'm not married all these years. Oh, my child that did this to me. And you really can't do it. So I'm telling you, put the Lord down. And that means take it off your back so that you can be free to go up the steps. Do you see how I like this photo? This is a free lady. She has her handbag, she has her high shoes, she's going up. She has nothing on her back. That's what it means. Forgive what happened in the past. Forgive whoever didn't give you a promotion. Forgive whoever is sitting in, in the chair you are supposed to have sat in to be the director. Let go. Move on. Find another job. Go and do some reading for 2 years and forget this and move up, you know? Freedom. Forgiveness, for me, when I'm talking about forgiveness, it is equal to freedom. If you don't want to use the word forgive, then use the word freedom. I want to be free to be me. I want to be free not to be held back by anybody. I want to be free. So reconstruct yourself. There's a lot of reconstruction for some people. Sometimes it is reshaping. Sometimes it is repair. Sometimes it is remedy. Sometimes it is review. There are many re's. Reconstruct, reshape, repair, remedy, reset yourself. You may need to do more exercise. You may need to think better. You need to, do a lot of stuff. Here are some reputation quotes. Regard your good name as the richest jewel you can possibly be possessed. The way to gain a good reputation is to endeavor to be what you desire to appear. So you see, self-esteem is what you desire, what your perception is. So endeavor to be that. That is by Socrates. And from the Bible in Proverbs 22, it says, a good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver or gold. So work on your good name. And then lastly, faith in God. I am a Christian. I love the Lord. I accepted him at a very young age, and he has really kept me. So this verse says, though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Though war break out against me, even then I will be confident. Do you see that's the healthy self-esteem in there? I am not afraid. I am confident because I have somebody. Even if things come and fall on me, somebody will take care of me. Be strong, be courageous. Don't be afraid. Don't be discouraged, for the Lord God, your God, will be with you wherever you go. So we need a higher power, a higher somebody who will take care of every bit of us. So go. Healthy self-esteem is what we're looking for. I am, say what you are. This is what I want. This is what I want to be. And that is where you will go. Thank you so much for listening to me. God bless you.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Wow. Like, yeah, that was amazing. I see where the teaching comes in. Like, oh my God, I can't even believe that you're almost 1 hour gone. And yeah, for the people who are asking for Dr. Ruth's contacts, I've shared the email, but on the chat, but you can screenshot your screen and you can, of course, get in touch with Dr. Ruth. You have, okay, this is 256 or this is Kenya?
No, this is plus 256 Uganda.
Oh yeah, so it's plus 256.
Plus 256. Yes.
Right, right. Wow, that was amazing, Daktari. And I'm just here. Okay, we have quite a number of questions. Allow us to take a few questions. You guys, you can post your questions as well, so that we can get to ask. And I can see a few hands up. I hope Maureen Chelagat shortly, I will allow you to speak. But at this point in time, we have a question from Hudson Mosuza. Is low self-esteem interwoven in our culture values? How can we balance esteem and discipline when parenting our children?
Esteem and what?
And parenting.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
Do you
and
want me?
discipline, sorry.
And
Esteem
discipline.
and discipline.
Yes, a lot of the esteem that we have right now comes from how we were brought up. A lot of it depends on that. So you as a parent can destroy the esteem of your child and make them very, feel like they are nothing because you are telling them how stupid they are, how they are not able to do this. So that's the perception that they believe because they look up to their parents and whatever you say, they pull it in. So our cultures sometimes have told us children are not to be to be heard. They are to just, you don't listen to them. You do whatever you want with them because they are hopeless. They can't think. And yet children are amazing. I've seen my daughter raising her children because she's a stay-at-home mother. She's a first-class person. She got a first class in her degree, but decided that she's going to look after her children. And it's amazing. These children, 1.5 years, she was telling me yesterday that she sent this, he's called Chirabo, my grandson. He sent him and told him, Chirabo, go to my bedroom on my bed and find my phone. He walked there and got the phone and brought it to her. And she sent a message and said, now I have arrived. My 1-year-old is, and you see, in our cultures, it's like, you can't send a 1-year-old to do anything because he's too young. And you see, he's not talking yet, but he understands everything we say. And he bubbles and wants to respond and say, then he says, Mommy, Daddy, Jaja, we don't understand what he's saying, but he understands everything we say. So parenting becomes very, very key. It's one of the talks that I give on parenting, and I'm very clear that you have to be purposeful. Why are you raising this child? What do you want to make of this child? What are the gifts and talents that this child has that you are going to pull up and make sure that they know? How are they going to fit into society? When they get to school, who are they? How are they going to communicate? All these things are taught. So yes, you can bring up your child with a very low self-esteem, or you can bring them with a healthy one.
Okay. And there's a question from Simon Frank. Dr. Ruth, one of the issues with leaders is failures in doing counseling to their teams. What are your comments on this?
Failure to do counseling for their teams. Two things. In your company or wherever you are, you need to have a counselor. It can be in-house, like I was for Bank of Uganda for 22 years. I was in there, so I could understand everything. I knew the policies, I knew the people, I had access to them. I had an private office clinic away from the office and another one right inside. I had 2 offices. So if you wanted privacy, we go to the other office. If you wanted your family to come, I would be there. So very important, somewhere where people can go. If you don't have an in-house, you need to have someone people can get to as early as any time. We have online, we have those counselors that are known. This is their number, can make an appointment. So that is a need, a must that HR must address. People must be able to be helped. And the HR person at times is not qualified to do that. So get a qualified counselor. That's why we went to school for many years. That's what we do. I deal with companies. Sometimes they give me, they tell me, we want you to be the one to help the employers that we have. And say, fine. So people can approach me. I think we make an appointment and then they pay me either monthly or per session. So that happens. And I would encourage it for everyone because the mental health of your employees, they're called employees, is very, very important.
I agree with you. I think you need to establish rally your leaders to establish employee wellness programs in your workplaces, and also negotiate with your insurance if you have one that includes some psychosocial support, just in case of anything. Right, and we have another question here. I have had a low self-esteem due to physical scars on my skin, face, arms, legs. How do I go about overcoming this?
Those are the things under weaknesses that you cannot change. So the first step is accept them. This is me. I have scars and I'm not going to be self-conscious about the scars. Because if you're like, this one is looking at me, I'm sure they're looking at the scar on this side. This one is looking at me, they are probably looking at the scar on this side. This one is looking at me. So you are so self-conscious. So you have to work on that. Sometimes you need some help just to work through that with a counselor. But it's like, the people are going to look, but they also look at me who has no scar. But you are taking every look as if it is piercing you and saying that there is a problem. Okay, so learn first of all to accept it yourself, that the scars are there, they are not going to be changed, and it's okay. And if somebody asks you about them, you can talk about it freely and say, yes, the scars were a result of this and that and that. And the more you talk about it, the less people are cautious about it. Yeah.
Dr. Ruth, you're right, because I always use my height. I'm short. So every time I'm doing a training, I normally use myself as an example. I'm short and there's nothing I can do about it. So, and I normally say acceptance is key. So there's not, even if you wear high heels, by the way, there's only so much you can do. Imagine you can't. I actually wear high heels, not for the height, but just because it makes me feel good. That's it. So yeah. And yeah, so there's another question about the cheating husband. And it's good to see you, Cecilia Mutemi, in this session. Where is this? If a fiancé cheats on a young girl and she hangs in there, he does it like 15 times. He apologizes and does it again and again and again. Should she fight on and continue for how long?
Fiancé and husband are two different people. Don't get me wrong. Anything that you see in your fiancé is probably going to remain for the next 80 years. So when you make up your mind, you are taking everything. Sometimes we say these vows and say, I will be with you, I will love you, I will respect you, as is. You are taking them as is. And you say, I will be with you for as long as I live. So before you make that decision, just make sure that that is what you want. So if somebody is drinking, is drunk every day, and you say, oh, let me marry him, I will change him. We say, if you are going into marriage to change people, that is a very difficult project that you are getting into. So if you don't want to get into changing people, then don't marry them. If they are cheating now 15 times, they will probably cheat more times when they are with you. So don't risk that. If you don't want to get into that cheating stuff, then don't go there. However, If you talk to someone and they help you work through the problem, maybe something can happen. Now, when you are married, there is something, I married this man, I chose him, and, we are together. So he cheats today. That's what I was saying. Don't give him away because he's your husband, and try to get the help you need so that you stick together. So fiance and husband are totally different beings.
I agree. Right. How can I reset my, oh, wait, before we go there, oh my God. Okay, Kevin, we can get the giveaways from Pathway Solutions. We can do the offers.
Please just ask the last question before I can share the giveaways.
Oh, you got carried away in, Dr. Ruth. All right, we have one from Harriet. How do you help a teenager, a teen who has low self-esteem, maybe because he has a heavy tongue and he's very quiet, reserved boy. He's 18 years. Though he's very tall and handsome and dark, I keep reminding him of these features just for him to feel special.
Okay, there are many reasons why a teenager would have low self-esteem. So you first have to find them. It may not be because his tallness and handsomeness and darkness may not have anything to do with the low self-esteem. But what is it? You have to first find that one. Maybe he's scared of socializing. Maybe he's scared of talking. Maybe when he speaks, he thinks he's not saying the right thing. Maybe he's been ridiculed. Maybe he's been bullied. Maybe he's been abused. I mean, there's so many things that can come through here for a teenager. So many times you have to really find out first. And if you are a parent, you may not be the one to find out. You may need someone to talk to that he can express himself. I do a lot of teenage counseling because that is also my specialty. I work with teenagers, and sometimes parents say, oh, this one doesn't talk. I don't think he'll talk to you. And we spend about 2 hours with this teenager, and you find out that he's being bullied at school, that his friends don't like him, that maybe when they were bathing, maybe his private parts were too big or too small or too whatever it is. They teased him. So there are so many things that could come out of why he has a low self-esteem. So that needs to be found out before. Yes, he's tall, he's handsome, he's dark, but what is it?
Yeah. The root cause.
Yeah, what is the root cause?
Yeah. Kevin, you ready? You're ready. I cannot see a screen. You're on mute.
Sure, I'm ready. Allow me just to share my screen. All right. Today's session has been very, very engaging. That is, as far as our minds are concerned, that is why I'm sorry, I somehow got carried away. Solution services, some training for us. Today we have 5 offers, that is manage workplace anxiety, personal productivity, delivering constructive feedback, and stress management. Who are going to be the winners? 3 individuals or 5 organizations or companies that is are going to get free sponsorship for 2 trainings of their choice from the list that I've just read out. The training will be completed via learning management system, that is e-learning system. And anyone who wishes to qualify for such or any of the 2 trainings should send a justification to Frank at frank@pathwaysolutionservices.co.uk or grace@grace.atara solutions.co.ke. You should send your applications within 12 hours. That is from today. Companies training will be delivered via Zoom meetings or Google meeting. Time and day will be agreed upon, that is after your qualifications. So if you feel or think that you need such a training, please get in touch with Grace and copy Frank. Thank you, and back to you, Grace.
Thank you for that, Kevin. Please make sure, Kevin is going to post the email addresses on the chat. Please take advantage of the offers from Pathway Solutions and get learning, getting better to yourself. Yes. Okay. Okay. 256 version of HR is gentle. Kenyan one banange sometimes. Yeah. How do you handle, Dr. Ruth, are you still there?
Here.
Okay, so yeah, we can take the last two questions of tonight. And how do you handle, okay, I think they're correlated. There's a question on by Frank Orinda, who's saying, how do you handle your workmates who body shame you and are toxic? And then there's somebody else who says he has a diploma and everyone else has degrees, and he feels like he has low self-esteem while doing his presentations. How can he improve?
The first one was the workmate body shames you and does what? Missed that one.
They are toxic.
Toxic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We sometimes call them difficult workmates. I did a talk on relationships at work. And sometimes there are people who are constantly in your face, but they are toxic. So we encourage you not to be too much in their face. Don't be too close to them. Sometimes they're actually sitting next to you. So once in a while, get up and walk away and find somebody who is not so toxic. If it is so bad, talk to your HR or talk to the person and say, I would love to move to another department. So this is, you see, when I was talking about healthy self-esteem, it's like this is the moment where you need to express your need. Don't stay in a toxic environment when you can express to someone that you need to change. And these are some of the things sometimes I used to handle when I was in HR. Someone would say, I can't deal with this one. So we try to see what is the toxicity about, and see, can I handle it? Is this something that I can do? I can handle now for the next 5 years if I'm sitting next to this guy? Or do I need to move? Or do I need to change career? Or do I need to get away? So those are things you need to look into if they are toxic. If they, I didn't understand the body shame part. The what does that mean? Body shame? You are muted.
Sorry. Yeah, body shame is when they pick on your stomach, they pick on your height, they pick on your yeah, they just
about
part
that.
of your body and just laugh about them or make fun of you.
Yeah, sometimes you have to speak up and say, you know what? I really don't like you talking about my body part, this body part or that body part. Take them aside and make sure that that is said. They may listen to you, they might not listen to you, because you don't have power over what people say. Now, when that is done, then I think I talked about when people say toxic things, push them back, learn how to manage your emotion, that's emotional intelligence, but also learn how to deal with people who are negative. Okay, so they'll keep saying it. Sometimes they say it and then they realize that she's not reacting, she's not doing anything, and they stop. They move on with other things. So there are many ways that you can deal with that, but also get be a friend to you, so that when they say you are so tall, I won't use the short now because Grace is there. Said, you are so tall. Say, yeah, you guys, I'm really tall. In fact, in my family, I'm the tallest person. So you see, now you get into the conversation with them instead of being annoyed that you people all the time you're talking about how tall I am. No. Like, yeah, this is part of it. Get the fun, laugh with them, and all is well.
All right. And then the other one who was saying,
the diploma.
Yes, the diploma holder.
A diploma and degree.
Mm.
Well, that's who you are. That's what you have. So if you're not comfortable with having a diploma, go and get a degree. Go. Is it very hard? I did my PhD while working full time. So I would be in class, because it was American time, I would be in class on the computer most of the time at night and early morning. I had to change some things. So if you're uncomfortable with having a diploma, get a degree. If you can't get a degree, be content with what you have and stop comparing. You say we talked about comparison. It doesn't mean that because I have a diploma, I am not able to speak as well. My gift is speaking. My gift is presentation. My gift is teaching. Whether I have a degree, diploma, PhD, it does not matter. So be your best with what you have. And if you feel that is not good enough, add, go. You can do night classes, you can do weekend classes, get that degree. It doesn't take long. 2 years and you're done. 3, 4, you will have it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like that answer. And finally, can Doc say something about violence in relationships?
Oh, yeah. Domestic violence or intimate partner violence is a real thing. People are battered. People are beaten. People are. Let me just give you an example of a friend of mine who she was a CEO, and the husband didn't like that her being up there. So he used to take her money and then lock the door and beat her, with with a belt. And she would have scars. Sometimes she would run away until she said, enough is enough. Let me go and get help. So she came for help. And I said, this cannot continue. You can't be in that kind of relationship. We need to talk to this gentleman. So we called him in, and he was so annoyed because of the counseling, I managed to get him to talk so much about his own background. And when he talked about his background, it was just low self-esteem through and through. The way he was brought up, what happened to him, his relationships before he got married. And so he felt he was not good enough. And this woman was rising and becoming good in everything. So he was jealous, he was angry, he was like, I'm beating her because she's doing better than me. You see, we found the cause, we found the reason why he was doing that. And that was the end of the violence. Okay, so at times people don't ask for help. When you have a healthy self-esteem, you are able to seek help. Do not be afraid of asking people to help you, okay? If you don't want your family to know, look for a counselor that is not associated with your family so that you can bring this to surface and talk about it. Do not stay in a relationship where they are hitting you almost to death. Get out, find security, be safe, then seek help for how you can deal with this person. So when we are talking about domestic violence, we say, always be ready. If that person comes in the room and locks the door and hits you, well, don't allow him to lock the door. Call somebody, get out of the house, make sure that he does not beat you and go to a safe place. So always have some money on you. You can get a boda or a motorbike and get away. Okay, because these people can kill. You can be killed because you are like, where can I go? I'm a Christian. My husband is a reverend, he's a well-known politician. What will people think? No, you need to take care of you. All right.
Absolutely, absolutely. And somebody said, "Wavalenyo." Dr. Wavalenyo. What does that mean?
Thank you very much.
Oh, Wavalenyo. And
Mm.
Flavuluji. That means
Sleep well.
That I know. Yes.
Well. Yes.
All right. Wow. This is so amazing. This is so amazing. And I know we can be here. How to handle a child who was once told by the father when doing homework, you cannot make even a small question, and the child developed fear towards the father, even in normal talks. And there's somebody who said, how do you handle self-esteem when you're co-parenting and raising?
Co-parenting. Okay.
Yeah.
This co-parenting is a very new phenomenon that has come on board, where maybe you are separated or you are divorced. That is called co-parenting. The children sometimes go there, some children come over here. That can be a difficult one, especially if you have one of the parents who is bringing down the other one. So when the children are with them, they say, your father is a drunkard. He's nothing. He's not good enough. So they are always bringing them down. So sometimes it can be very difficult to bring up a child in those kind of circumstances where the two of you are not agreed. So sometimes it is important that even though you two are not getting on, at least agree on how you are going to bring up these children, because everything you do affects them. What is our plan? How do we, when they come to me, what am I supposed to say? What am I not supposed to say? You have another woman. How do I tell them that? What do I say about that? So agree on how you will do some of the things. And once in a while, take these children out to speak to someone who is not their parent, so that if they identify anything that they can tell their parents to work on, they can actually do it. It's a difficult one because sometimes we have different values, we have different ways of bringing up these children. The co-parenting can be difficult. Then the person who talked about how to handle a child, this is kind of taken up when we talked about upbringing for a child. You can actually ruin their self-esteem. So if you tell a child you are stupid, you are going to be nothing, you are going to be a criminal, that one sticks in their head. And sometimes whenever they are trying to do something, they remember that their father actually told them that they are going to be nothing. So they pull back, they go back, they don't achieve their purpose. So let's help these children to be forward-looking. Some of them are slow. They are slow learners. They are not as good as the other one, the first or the second one. So take each child in their capacity and work with them accordingly. They will not be equal. Some are very, very bright. My last born is very intelligent. He was the first in P7, the first in S4, the first in, he's just very, very, very intelligent. So we know that. But it doesn't mean the other children are not intelligent. So he's not going to cover everybody and we're like, this one is the one we love because, so be careful. Each one has their talent and develop that one so that they don't get that fear of, what am I going to become? I can't compete with that one who has become a doctor. Me, I'm nothing because I am this. Let's be careful about what we say to our children.
I agree with you. And of course, the last one now on children, the father is a perfectionist and does not allow the child to make mistakes. How can the mother help?
That is still a mother-father thing. You have to talk about that, because there are some parents that are so perfection, they do not allow you to fail. And so if you are a mother and the child has failed in something, support them. Say, yes, you have failed in this. Let's agree that you have failed. How can we work on it better? So there must be a fallback. If the father is too much of a perfectionist, that way there must be someone who balances the boat on this other side. Yeah, perfectionism, but this one is allows for failure. Yeah.
Yeah. That one you have to affirm your children. Yeah. Wow, this is amazing, Dr. Ruth. This is really, really amazing. And I need to remind my son that once in a while, he still needs to see a therapist just to check on how he's doing.
Right. That's a good one. Every once a year or something, have the child talk to a therapist. Just doesn't mean they have a problem. It's like they can talk and you can see, and then the therapist can say, parent, please look out for these things,
Definitely, we must fix this nation, like I always say. All right, so thank you very much, Dr. Ruth, and we really appreciate. For those of you who are asking for the presentation, she shared her screen. It will be uploaded on our YouTube channel. You can go listen, because you know it's a PowerPoint. PowerPoints, you must combine it with what she was talking about so that you can apply and understand it. So we will upload the recording on our YouTube channel. Please go there. You can catch it probably before the end of tomorrow or the Thursday. It will be uploaded there. You can listen and play back and get to understand what we're talking about, and also get to build, improve, and what was the other one? Build, improve, and
boost.
Yes, you can build, improve, and boost. BIB. Boost, improve, and build your.
I like that.
Yes, so you can do that, and please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. I think, oh, Patricia, all it's good to see you. Now I know Luganda, Vulungi. Yeah, that one. I am becoming a Baganda. Right, and I think Jacinta shared our YouTube channel. You can subscribe so that you can get it to know. You can actually go there. There's a lot of information that you can pay thousands and thousands of shillings. For those of you who want to improve your self-esteem by gaining knowledge, you can actually go there and you'll be supported. And also, please join our WhatsApp group for you to be able to get to know what we are doing at Atara Solutions, and among other people who are onto something. Make sure that you join our WhatsApp group. The link was shared as well. Please plan and join us in Sagana on the 8th of July as we do our road trip. And of course, Kampala, Tanzania, friends from all over the world, you guys are invited. I hope to see some of you in the event. We will be taking a road trip from Nairobi to and all over wherever it is to Sagana, a town in Kenya. And at that point in time, allow me to also say thank you to Dr. Ruth, and also thank you to Herbert and everyone who tuned in from, you guys are our audience. We love you. We appreciate you. We cannot do this without you guys. So we really, really appreciate your input, your being here, and your willingness to continue improving yourself and doing better for yourselves. We really appreciate you. Next week, we are looking at postpartum depression. This is the depression that is experienced when a new child is born. It could be both, it's applicable, I think, to both parents. And that is what we are going to deal with next week as we sum up the mental health month. And then we go on to discussing other things that affect employers and employees as we go along. So make sure that you tune in next week from 8 p.m. as well. And follow us on Instagram at Atara Solutions, like our Facebook page at Atara Solutions, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Get It Right with Atara Solutions, and connect with me on LinkedIn. I am CHRP Grace Nzula. Please make sure that you register for the public participation for the private candidates registration from HRMPEB. It is happening on the 6th of June, which is next week, Tuesday. And make sure that you're not left behind. At this point in time, I don't know whether Kevin, you have anything to say?
Not really. I'm just grateful about today's session. And yeah, I hope that everyone can be able to apply what you've learned from Dr. Ruth. If you allow, I can just share
Before you
this
play,
info.
yeah, before you play, allow us to get the parting shot from Dr. Ruth. You cannot let, have you seen how motherly she is? You cannot let her go with all that wisdom like that. Please give us your parting shot, Dr. Ruth.
Grace, thank you. I have loved you. This is the first time I've seen you, but you've been a great person. Thank you so much for hosting me. Thank you for making me feel welcome. Thank you for loving the presentation. I thank you all for listening to me and all the nice remarks I've read. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ruth. Your contacts are needed. I'm sure somebody has said, please prepare for more talk. So I'm sure, thank you for doing this for us and sharing with your knowledge for free. I'm sure somebody will pray for us and many more. This will pay back. So thank you. Geoffrey, you're welcome. It's always a pleasure to bring the sessions to you. Yes, at no cost, we really try because we really want to change the world through information. That's our mission on this earth at this point in time. So thank you very much. And of course, Catherine Sidandi, our sign language interpreter, we appreciate you for making us inclusive. Thank you very much for not leaving no one behind. And Kevin, thank you. And the whole team at Tatara Solutions, you guys are wonderful. I love you guys, and you guys make the world a better place. I wouldn't do this without you guys. So thank you very much, Jacinta, Kevin, Anne, and all our associates. So we appreciate you. And of course, our friends from Kampala, we really, really appreciate you. Herbert, Ajal, and Shamim. I've seen Shamim today, Patricia, all. Thank you very much. And my newfound friend, Dr. Ruth, you are awesome. When I come to Kampala, I must look for you. Thank you so much. You guys have a lovely, lovely night. See you next week.